about me from this poem as he is, so.
TMI.
I will tell you the story of my life in both imagination and truth, because that is the way I lived it. One of my sisters says our childhood was a Gothic tragedy, a melodramatic but not entirely an accurate description. While I see my sisters as having survived through strength and courage, which may not be their truth, I survived through imagination. I could imagine I came from another planet, which I believed to be Venus, and that I had a secret pet made of clouds and wings and beauty. I could imagine I was pretty, which in truth I didn't believe I was, and that I was smart, which I also didn't believe I was, and that I fit into my big messy family of siblings and step-siblings, when in truth none of us really fit all that well. In my teens, I imagine I can sing like Joan Baez for peace and justice, with the voice of an angel who could change the world. In my 20s, it's with the voice of the devil, tough and bluesy. I'm singing with the Rolling Stones, and the way Keith and Mick are both looking at me, you just know there's going to be trouble. And I can play the guitar like Clapton. I can play any instrument because that's how it works. In truth, I have this voice, and it only gets worse when I open my mouth to sing. And the only instrument I can play is my own imagination. But at that, I'm a virtuoso. In my imagination, I am strong and athletic. In truth, I'm clumsy and awkward, both as a child and an adult. At the company softball game, I hit the ball 3 feet in front of home plate, and I fall spectacularly on my way to first base. But there's another game going on. And in this one, the ball is arcing far and long and high over the heads of everyone. And I am rounding third and heading for home with grace and speed, as if the goddess Diana herself has come to pinch it for me at the company softball game. Imagination 1, reality 0. Because I'm afraid to fail in reality, I only work at jobs where that won't happen. Until one day in frustration, I look at the man I'm working for, and I think, what an asshole. The good girl in me is immediately ashamed, but the real girl in me knows that he's simply the latest in a long line of assholes. So, real girl sends good girl on vacation, and I write this, my true resume. I've worked at many a job in this strange land of Oz. For the scarecrow with a head full of dried up ideas and a stick up his butt. For the tin man who had no heart, but whose mouth sadly never rusted shut. For the beastly king who had no balls, he just lacked the courage to be queen. But I think I've finally had enough. And as soon as I find my red shoes, I'm taking my little dog and I'm going home. In a way, I did go home because I went to work for my sister who had just been waiting for me to show up. She promptly threw me off a cliff. But to my surprise, I didn't fall, I flew. When I asked her later how she could have done that, she said, because I knew you had wings, you just couldn't see them. So now my true resume simply says, I'm a writer. I also have a true love story to tell you, and it too is mine. He had once been to sea. She had always been overboard. He liked to sleep in the forest. She would rather sleep in the Holiday Inn. But from the time they met, they never wanted to sleep apart. He understood the secrets of machines. She found confusion in the can opener. He spoke in practicalities. She spoke in prose. But when they spoke to each other, they told a love story. And when they had a child, that child learned practicalities, and she learned prose. And she learned to recognize a true love story when she found one. My love story ended suddenly one day. Or maybe not, I'm still confused about the concepts of life and death and the persistence of cosmic energy. I've kept his voice on our old answering machine, and I call sometimes just to hear that voice. The one my sister said always reminded her of Jeff Bridges. So when someone says of this ancient machine, that's a real classic. I think, yes it is, and that classic is The Big Lebowski. Because in it is that memorable character, the dude, my dude. My friend tells me that I'm very lucky because I had someone who truly loved me and I got to have him for a long time. Not everyone gets to have that. I know she's right, but it's hard sometimes. So this is what I have left. I have my memories and our daughter and grandchildren and his voice on The Big Lebowski. It's a lot and it's not enough. But in truth, it's more than I ever thought I would have, even in my wildest imagination.